Joining me right now is former Energy Secretary, former Texas Governor Rick Perry. Governor, it is good to see you this weekend. Thank you for being here. Critics argue that we need to drill more here at home, but here's National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby on why that is not happening.
We are trying to transition to a more clean energy environment. That is good for the economy. That's good certainly for the environment, and that's where the president wants to take us. But in these transitions are tough, and they take time.
Yeah, Rick Perry, they do take time, like 10, 20 years' time. Should we be killing off fossil fuels now? Your reaction to what took place this week?
I think the hardest thing for someone in the political business to do is to stand up and say, you know what, we were wrong. And this administration is not going to do that. They will drive America into the ditch, and they are economically. And national security-wise, from the standpoint of having to rely upon foreign countries for our energy, it is just really bad public policy. So this idea, they are glomming to this environmental altar, if you will, where they pray every day, and it is hurting Americans. And the fact is, they're listening to a myth. When it comes to, I mean, the president of the United States stands up in Florida and says the reason Hurricane Ian came was because of the use of fossil fuels and global warming. That is nonsense. There's no data to back that up. They have put America in jeopardy economically, national security-wise, on this Green New Deal craziness that is really hurting Americans. So there needs to be some sensibilities. I think, as my friend Larry Kudlow says, the cavalry is on the way in November when the elections occur. The Biden administration is going to get a powerful message that your policies don't work, you're killing us economically, and you're putting America in jeopardy from a national security standpoint.
Well, it is national security. We know that because of fossil fuels and oil companies' ability to power this economy. And yet this administration is pretty much telling bankers not to bank fossil fuel. I mean, how dangerous is that smaller and mid-cap companies can't even get the lending that they need to pursue the projects that will power America?
Yeah, it really is a fascinating time when government is trying to influence private sector businesses the way that they are. Government's always, interfered, if you will, whether it was taxation, regulation, litigation, and all of those impact the economy of an entity. One of the reasons Texas was so successful back in the 2000s was because we didn't overtax, we didn't overregulate, and we didn't overlitigate. And this administration is doing all of those. It is obviously overtaxing, it is over-regulating, and it is allowing litigation that drives businesses to make decisions that are not in the best interest for their stockholders or for the citizens of this country. So everything they are doing, Build Back Nothing administration is what this should be called, because they are tearing down America with their policies.
Well, Governor, I want to get your take on this strategic oil reserve, because we are now at the lowest levels in about 38 years. We're talking about 450 million barrels in the strategic petroleum reserve, because this president is selling oil. This week he said he's going to sell more oil. Unfortunately, he's also selling it to adversaries like China. China, ramping up on its acquisition of oil as these levels go lower in the U.S. I thought this strategic reserve was for emergencies, crisis situations. Assess the numbers here. We're about the lowest levels in this reserve since 1984.
Yeah, 40 years, lowest reserves that we've had. This is a tragedy. Now, here's the real problem, Maria, from my perspective. Not only is this president playing politics with our strategic petroleum reserve and driving it down, he's going to have to refill it with some incredibly high-priced fuel, probably $100 to $110 a barrel. And if there is another hurricane, if there is a major natural disaster, we potentially could be putting people's lives in jeopardy because you don't have the fuel reserves in that strategic petroleum reserve that are supposed to be there for those reasons. So, I mean, this is wrong in so many different ways. But again, a reflection that the Biden administration, I think this is part of a plan. I think this is the Green New Deal forced upon Americans, and we don't really care how much it hurts you. We don't care how painful this is. We're going to force you to move away from fossil fuels. And if it brings America to its knees, so be it, because we think, we would rather worship this God of the environment than care about you at all. And it's based on a myth. Yeah, that's the stunning thing, is all of this that they're talking about is based on a myth.
Governor Rick Perry, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for your analysis.
You're the best, Maria. God bless you.
We so appreciate it. And to you. Thank you, sir.